The next video series I'm going to do here is on Tele and Strat neck construction. The way Fender did it years ago is they take a one piece of maple, they would do a skunk stripe down the middle, they'd put the adjustment here at the heel and have a walnut plug. And the truss rod would be curved in here to pull it back, so it's a single action truss rod. This is an Indonesian Tele neck, and it's got the same walnut skunk stripe, no adjustment at the heel, but the adjustment then is here at the top of the neck. There's also a lot of other manufacturers out there making these necks. So Warmoth is a licensed manufacturer of their necks. This is a one piece very similar to the original Fender style. It's a walnut skunk stripe, truss rod adjustment here with a walnut plug here. Again, it's a single action truss rod. This is a much older Warmoth neck. It's got one piece with a fretboard and then the adjustment here at the heel. And you can also go out on eBay and find a whole bunch of different people making these necks as well. This is a one-piece neck with a fretboard, no truss rod adjustment. It's actually set up here. Be very careful buying some of the stuff off eBay that's coming out of China. I think the quality isn't all that great. I've had this neck for about 6 years and I never really cleaned up the frets. You can feel them sticking out here. So be careful when you're buying that stuff. Make sure the wood's completely dry and ready to use. I would always go with Warmoth. If I was ever buying a neck for a customer, they've got the processes and for the price point you can't beat. So when you're looking for wood to make your guitar neck, you want to ideally pick quarter sawn wood. This is a quarter sawn piece of maple. You can see it here in the end grain. It's also figured. This is actually kind of a rare board to have the figuring and the quarter sawn. I haven't seen a lot of these boards, so I've been sitting on this for the last couple years. There's also flat sawn wood. There's also diagonally grained wood, and then there's also wood where you've got inclusions. And so I highlighted with a Sharpie here, you know, the grain patterns, and as you hit the inclusion you can see the wood kind of build around it. You really want to avoid these types of pieces of wood. This is where you'll get some issues when you cut it. You know, you might actually get some movement after you're done doing your work, and then that neck is really trash. Ideally you want quarter sawn wood. If you can't get quarter sawn wood, then you want to pick flat sawn wood. If you can't get flat sawn wood, you can go with grain that is kind of diagonal, you know, across the grain, across the piece. But you want to make sure that that is flowing through the whole neck. You know, some of these pieces of wood here are perfectly flat sawn. You can see in the end grain. Ideally, you know, quarter sawn is great, but it is hard to come by. You can see in the Fender neck you're kind of getting a diagonal type of wood here, and even in this Warmoth one-piece neck you can see the diagonal grain as well. But you can look, as you look through the whole neck, it's actually pretty consistent. As you get even up to this top part of the neck, the grain is pretty consistent. When you're looking at these pictures here, you can see the boards marked with an X are going to turn into quarter sawn pieces of wood because they're thick enough. This is from that 300 board feet of Corinna. I'll be able to take these pieces and actually turn them on the side and have perfectly quarter sawn wood. These other pieces you can see, you know, are kind of flat sawn. The X's are flat sawn, but if you turn them on the side they turn quarter sawn. And then you can also see the other diagonal pieces. And like I said, you're looking for consistency in the grain, so if I'll flip these over, I'll double check, you know, as I'm making guitar necks, that these pieces of wood are consistent. With this piece here, I've got my center line drawn. I've got my different templates here that I'll line up. You know, I'll cut this out. I'm gonna make two different guitar necks. One the standard traditional way, but I'm gonna use a dual action truss rod. I'm not gonna be doing the bent truss rod, the curved truss rod. I'm gonna be using a standard truss rod in the Strat and in the Tele neck. I think those are better truss rods than the curved rods. So I'll be showing you that and how I do it. So look for those videos to come here in the next month.